I'm getting something. I'm sensing that you like big thick cookies. You have a craving right now for cookies. You like sprinkles. Am I like a mind reader or something? Who is ready to try Cupcake Jemma's birthday? This one's a mouthful, so hold on. White chocolate rainbow sprinkle birthday cake New York cookies. You're either here because you want to know if these are actually worth your time to make, or you just want to look at some cookies being made. Either way, I'm not going to discriminate against you. We're going to be testing them today to see if they're good. I've always wanted to try her recipes. I never have yet, so I'm excited. Let's get into it and see how it goes and see if they're worth your time. Main things that is appealing of this cookie is the caramelized white chocolate, which if you watch the video, they describe how exactly to make it in other videos that they have linked. So I watched another one of their videos on how to caramelize the white chocolate, which I tell you better have some patience, because I swear this process took me half an hour. And basically, when I first put it in, you have to keep putting it in the microwave in like 10 to 15 second intervals and stirring it smooth. I think I did it right. Eventually, the whiteness turned to a brown, and then I was nervous that I was gonna eventually burn it. I don't know if you can do that, but I was nervous. So once I got it brown after about half an hour, so if you're afraid of commitment, you're not gonna like this recipe, because you gotta commit to making this caramelized white chocolate. Eventually, I got to the brown stage of the white chocolate that they had talked about, and then I put it and let it cool until it was solid. So I will say though that caramelizing this white chocolate made my entire apartment smell wonderful, so then I could move on to making the cookies. Now, of course, since this is a London-based company, it's all in grams, so I did my best to convert it to US, which I'll list below. I measured all my ingredients. I did the spoon method where you spoon the flour, you know, into the measuring cup, because I don't have a scale, which isn't as good, but you know, it's what we're working with here. Basically, this recipe starts by whipping up some cold butter, and I guess that the main key with this recipe is not over mixing anything. You don't want to, you know, cream the butter, you just want it broken up a bit. So that's what I did. And then I went ahead and added in the brown sugar and the granulated sugar. Something else that's a little different about this recipe is that you actually add in the chocolate chips pretty early on in the recipe, which I noticed on all their cookie recipes they do, which is kind of interesting because I've never done that, but that's what we did. So we're following these directions to a T. We added in our homemade caramelized white chocolate and our normal white chocolate. Then I added in the dry ingredients, which I do in parts just because I don't have a stand mixer, and if I would have tried that with my handheld mixer, it would have exploded everywhere. So I had to do it like this. And then you add in the sprinkles, which I just find it's so weird the way the method of which they put the ingredients in. I would like to know the reasoning behind theirs versus the way I've always been taught. It's like chocolate chips, sprinkles, they're normally the last thing you add. But in this recipe, the last thing you add is actually the eggs and the vanilla extract. And they said to stop mixing it once it all kind of clumped together in the middle, and that's what I did. Sorry, but this dough just looks so freaking delicious. Anything with sprinkles in it just like takes it up from, you know, like a 5 to a 10. Like you could add sprinkles into anything and it's just gonna make it look so much better. And of course, I could not stop eating this dough when I was making it. It was so freaking delicious. So again, I don't have a scale, so they made 14 cookies and they all weighed exactly the same. I didn't, so I kind of, you know, did the old eyeball technique and put them into 14 balls, and I put them in the fridge for, they said at least 90 minutes, 24 hours is better. I couldn't wait 24 hours. I waited about 2 hours, and then we got to the good part. Eventually, after waiting patiently, I was able to bake the cookies. Now, I actually did what they did. When I preheated the oven, I put my baking pan in there so it was heating up, because they did that in their video. No, I wanted to keep it exactly as close as I could to what they did, their techniques and everything. So I put the pan in as I was preheating it, so it was hot, which you gotta remember to put a glove on when you take it out, because you could forget that, because normally when you first put it in, it's not hot. Maybe you wouldn't forget that, but I'm just saying, don't forget that. So the recommended time was 14 to 16 minutes to bake these bad boys, and that time was pretty accurate. Mine were done right around in that range. I just waited for them to get brown around the bottoms and on the top like they said, and I took them out. Tell me these do not look so freaking delicious. You know what, I'll be quiet and let you have a moment alone with them so you can enjoy their beauty. Look at the inside of these things. I mean, they are super tender, super moist looking, and They look so colorful and delicious. Caramelized white chocolate in this recipe was totally worth it. It was super unique. You know, I thought these cookies were phenomenal. I think that they were a huge step up from just your normal everyday sugar cookie, and I think they're pretty unique in that way, especially with the caramelized white chocolate. I think that was a really nice touch. I think it was worth it for the recipe, and you can use caramelized white chocolate in other ways too, like in frosting and buttercream. I had never used or really heard of caramelized white chocolate, but it's definitely a unique and doable thing that you can do in recipes. So I think that it does take the cookies up a notch, honestly. So quite frankly, this recipe has me really excited to try their other New York City recipes and just their other recipes in general, because like I said, this was my first time trying one of their recipes ever. Now, before you run off, I have something I need to talk to you about. We're ready to take our relationship, our friendship, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to label it, to the next level. Go ahead and, you know, subscribe, make it official, make it a thing. If you're not ready yet, you're not comfortable, of course, that's fine. Take your time. But I'll be here for you. So just had to throw that in there. Thank you for watching. I hope that you are inspired to go make these cookies or try one of their recipes, because I definitely give it, you know, the go ahead, the go do it, go try it. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and go eat some cookies. You deserve it.